Hello and welcome to Froch on Fighting. My name is Carl, the Cobra Froch, and we've just had a bit of a disaster of a night for lethal Leigh Wood. He's just been stopped by Anthony Cacace in round 9 here, live at the Nottingham Arena. This episode is brought to you by Cobra Casino. I'm going to go straight into it. They've just announced the decision. Leigh Wood, unfortunately, had just been knocked from one side of the ring to the other side of the ring. Couple of good body shots from Cacace. From round 1 right through to the stoppage in round 9, it was a very good fight, very close fight. Leigh was in the fight, Cacace was landing jabs, Leigh Wood was landing jabs, landing some good right hands to the body as well that was going in, and I was impressed with the fact that he was able to step up to super featherweight and still be okay. I mean, a lot of people thought he'd be bullied, pushed around the ring, but he wasn't. He was able to just keep his composure. But as soon as Cacace got close, he landed a couple of body shots. He landed at the start of round 9, Leigh Wood got some success. From up here, I didn't actually see completely what happened, but he had a bit of success early in the round, and Cacace was having none of it. He answered back nicely, he responded well, and he landed a couple of good body shots. He landed 3 or 4 uppercuts on the spin, and the first knockdown was actually, Leigh Wood didn't hit the floor, but he fell back into the ropes, and obviously when the rope's holding you up, it's still a knockdown. So the referee administered the 8 count. That gave Leigh Wood a bit of breathing space, but Anthony Cacace could taste the blood, and he went in for the finish. He just closed the gap. He was running after Leigh Wood, who was trying to get out of the way, almost turned his back at one stage, and as Cacace was closing on him with body shots and uppercuts, Leigh Wood was wincing. You could see he was in pain, you could see he was struggling, and the writing was on the wall. He just couldn't stay with him. Whether it's the 19 months out of the ring or what's going off with, I don't know why the delay was so big. There's been issues sort of promotionally for Leigh Wood. He's not got what he wanted to get towards the end of his career, and I don't know, this delay I think's been bad for him. When you've not been in the ring for 19 months, your timing and everything's out, and you can't take punches like you used to be able to. You've not done the sparring, you've not done the training, you're not physically prepared and physically ready for a tough fight. So as soon as it got tough for Leigh Wood in there, as soon as it started to come on top, body shots hurt him, a couple of uppercuts to the head, he was looking for the door. He wanted out of there. And Ben Davidson, the cornerman, very experienced. He knew what was coming. He just had the 8 count. He was hurt. He wasn't going to recover. And the towel came in. And that, I was going to say, that saves Leigh Wood for another day. But maybe this is the end of Leigh Wood now. He's 36 years old. He's had a fantastic career. He's done really well. The end of his career, unfortunately, there's too much of a long delay. Whatever was happening with Eddie Hearn, his former promoter, he couldn't get the rematch for warranted. He wanted the city ground, and the 19 months out of the ring, I think, played against him. It's been to his detriment. He needed to be busy. He needed to be more active as a fighter, especially in the twilight years of your career. But he's turned up tonight in shape. He looked good. He was in the fight for eight rounds. And then round 9 he got caught, and Anthony Cacace showed his class. He was putting the shots together. He looked like he had another gear and another level, and Leigh Wood couldn't stay with him. So unfortunately, it looks like what we've seen tonight will be the actual last we will maybe see of Leigh Wood. This could be the end of his career. Let's wait and see what he says at the post-fight press conference. We'll even nip down there and try and get a word of him if we can. He's probably not going to want to speak to anybody, but for now, Leigh Wood and Anthony Cacace have put on an absolute great show. It was a great fight. It was a standoff, bit of a chess match from round 1 right through to round 8. Cacace was getting a bit closer, but when he got to him in round 9, the writing was on the wall. And unfortunately for Leigh Wood, it's curtains now, maybe on his career. Right, I've just been backstage to see who I can catch up with. I managed to speak to a couple of people actually. I saw Anthony Cacace walking past. He was on the way to see the medical room, see the doctor in the medical room, and then he's gone off to the press conference. I also saw Adam Smith, my old friend. He was sat ringside commentating, and I said to Adam, what was it like ringside, what happened? And he just said that Leigh Wood got overwhelmed. A couple of body shots hurt him, but there was an uppercut to the side of the head, if you see it on the replay, and then a left hook. So there was 2 head shots that really hurt Leigh Wood, and then he sort of fell back, didn't he, onto the rope. So that was classed as a knockdown. But it was kind of just overwhelmed from what I'm hearing. And I said to Adam, do you think the stoppage was right? And he was like, listen, the towel came in. Ben Davidson obviously took the towel in, compassionate stoppage, but it was almost like I said to Adam Smith there, I said, look, 19 months out of the ring, it's just far too long. And to have that kind of time out of the ring, and then to be getting caught with shots when you've not been doing the sparring, because when you're out of the ring, you're not in the gym training, you're not sparring where you should be, your timing's all out, and you try and come here to a live event in the boxing ring with them little 8-ounce gloves on at their weight division. I mean, he's up at super featherweight now, still 8-ounce gloves. The small gloves and they hurt, and after 5 or 6 rounds you start to really feel them. So Leigh Wood did really well. He stayed in there, and once he started to get caught with proper shots in round 9, it showed, didn't it? I mean, Cacace, he looks like a really good finisher to me, and he was putting shots together, taking his time. Can you imagine if he came out for round 10, 11 and 12? There's no way Leigh Wood would have lasted that distance. So the stoppage from Ben Davidson was a real good timed stoppage. He'd already been hurt, he'd had the count. He gave him his time to maybe stay in there, but the body shots were hurting him, he was wincing. The head shots had the effect on the legs. And unfortunately for Leigh Wood, it was game over. It needed stopping, and it was a compassionate, correct move by Ben Davidson. Where from here, I'm not sure. Like I said earlier, I think his career is probably over. I would like to catch up with him. I've messaged him, but I don't want to bother him. Straight after a fight, he'll be feeling it. He'll be feeling hurt. He'll be feeling pissed off, upset, and obviously he didn't come here expecting to lose tonight. He come here expecting to win, and then maybe get another 1 or 2 big fights, big paydays before his career is finished. But if this is it, if this is all he's done, this is where he is now, and this is the end of his career, he's had a fantastic career. Now, I don't want to take anything away from Cacace, because Cacace performed really well. Good finisher, and he's 36 years old. Where does he go from here? He looks like he's got a couple of more fights in. He looks fresh. He looks like he's putting shots together well. So give Cacace his flowers, give him his props. Great little fighter. I've not seen much of him, but I'm very impressed. But Leigh Wood tonight, unfortunately, he wasn't quite at the races. So I'm sneaking around like a Snoop Doggy Dog, having a look. And look, I bumped into the main man, Leigh Wood's coach, Ben Davidson. The towel came in. There's a few people saying to me, was that stopped too early? Should that towel come in? Listen, I know it was the right stoppage. I've just spoke to Leigh Wood briefly. We'll be catching up with Leigh Wood actually on Froch on Fighting in a few days when he's reflected. He's in there waiting to do a urine sample. It takes forever, doesn't it? But anyway, back to the fight. Forget the stoppage. The stoppage was right. You chucked the towel in because you could see he was hurt. But how did you think the fight went? And did it go how you expected?
I thought it was close. I felt like, going into the fight, we was emphasising on coming on strong in the second half. But I felt like Leigh got off to a good start as well. I thought the fight was tight. It was close. I probably felt like we might have been a couple of rounds down. And emotions been everywhere. But I felt like he'd finished the previous round pretty well, and but I felt like we needed to roll on from there. So Leigh come back, said he felt like Cacace was feeling it. We emphasised that, and it's key for Leigh to get downstairs and get to the body. Just a little bit eager, and long time out of the ring, but we don't want to take nothing away from Cacace either. He's on a great run. He's another great role model. Not everybody's going to have the Floyd Mayweather type careers. Both of them had losses along the way, but they're a good role model in a sense that to the younger fighters that might take a loss along the way, might have a hiccup, might have a setback. If you stick with it, you work hard, and you do the right things, that you can still get there. And if you're going to lose, you want to lose to somebody like Cacace. Nobody wants to lose, but like I said, they're good people, and the team have been good people and professional all the way throughout, and that's how boxing should be.
Yeah, I agree with what you said there. It was a close fight. It was nip tuck, and I thought, 19 months out of the ring, to be able to perform and stay with someone like Cacace, who's quite fiery, and he's got fast hands. He's very, very skillful as well, and he can punch a little bit. I know his record doesn't demonstrate that he's a big puncher, but he's got good timing, and he hurts the opponents, doesn't he? He hits them and he hurts them, and the 19 months out of the ring, that body shot that Leigh Wood got hit with, that was, he got hit with an uppercut and a hook to the chin. He got the count, the standing count. But was it the body shot? Do you think that was that the finish? Did that finish him off? Was that where you thought to yourself, right? There's no coming back from this now. He looks spent. Because I'm up in the box, but you're sat ringside and you're seeing it firsthand. Eyewitness, close to the fighters. Did you just think, he's done it, I need to save him?
Yeah, you don't get much time to think about it, and I think it's very instinctual. I think in the moment you take into consideration, how do you think the fight's going? How do you think the opponent looks? Who is the opponent? What's his strengths? Like I say, no Cacace can punch. Time out of the ring, Leigh's age, all these things very quickly, you try to process. And I just felt like my instinct was that was the right thing to do at that moment in time. But I felt like, would Leigh be able to defend himself if Cacace got up to him again? And you never want to take unnecessary extra punishment. Leigh's the type of fighter like yourself. Not many fighters have that. They've all got heart, but there's another level to that, and you guys something in the water in Nottingham.
Nottingham.
But he'll always keep going, and sometimes the fighters have got to be, protected from themselves. And I just felt like that was the right decision at the time. I get some people agree, some people disagree. That's boxing, but in that moment, that's how I felt.
And I think he was in the fight all the way, right up until that point. And you're right, probably a little bit behind, but if you could have stepped it up a little bit, which you would have been able to do if you'd have had the extras. I just said to him in there, you've had 19 months out. That's potentially 2 fights you've missed. That's 2 training camps, 200 odd rounds of sparring, all that extra conditioning. And when you get in there tonight against someone like Cacace and he starts catching you with shots and then he steps it up a little bit, because he's not a bad little finisher, is he?
No, he's good finish. That was our concern, to be honest. He is a good finisher.
He'd been caught, dropped on the ropes, had the count, then he's on the body shot, then he's on his back foot, and he kind of turned away, didn't he, as if to get some breathing space. So the stoppage was bang on. You did right by chucking the towel in. Saved him for another day, if indeed he wants another day. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that I don't have any right to tell him what to do. I can share my opinion if he asks my opinion, but I don't have the right to tell him this is what you should do. So
what's your gut instinct? I know you can't tell him, look, you could time tang the gloves up now, even though you probably would if you thought it was done, because I'm sure you would.
Yeah, he will. Obviously, he's a clean liver. He lives well, looks after himself, stays in the gym.
I suppose it's the right fight, isn't it?
Yeah, but
because you could get Warrington, and I know Warrington's I don't know if he's officially finished, but that was the fight that we was waiting for, because he snatched victory there from the jaws of defeat in that amazing night, and he does what Leigh Wood does. He don't give up. He comes back and he gets the finish because he can punch. So then we needed to see that maybe at the City Ground or maybe wherever, but it never happened, did it?
No, it didn't, unfortunately.
Was there any particular reason why that didn't happen?
I think there was some disagreements promotionally. I think that was the case. And, I don't know if I should say, but Leigh, one of the reasons was Leigh had an autoimmune disease that he picked up. We kept saying he was injured. It wasn't that. It picked up a disease, which took a really long time to recover from.
Weekend is.
Yeah, and that took a long time to recover from, and that was part of the reason why things didn't get moving. But before that had happened, he could have probably fitted in the rematch before that had happened. But again, we don't want to make any excuses. Yeah. Full credit to Anto Cacace and.
No, absolutely, Cacace, really good fighter.
And you know what? Again, one of the best places I've come to, Nottingham. They always turn up. They always show out. What an amazing atmosphere!
Good atmosphere tonight, wasn't it?
Unbelievable. They always show up and show out, and I hope that they appreciate the fights and the time and the everything that Leigh puts on to as yourself did to please them and entertain them.
Yeah, I'm sure they're doing it. It was a great event tonight and a great atmosphere and a solid performance as well from Leigh Wood from round 1 right up to round 8 and then round 9 when it closed in. When you're getting them championship rounds, as they say, he got caught and he wasn't able to stay with it because of the time out of the ring,
inactivity,
and maybe the time of his career as well. But Ben, thanks for talking to us. You've got nothing to be. You can hold your chin up, both of you. I've said that to Leigh. You've both done yourselves proud. It was a good performance, a great performance from Wood. Cacace's a good fighter, and we don't know if he's going to come again. Ben doesn't know. I don't think Leigh Wood knows, but he's left it all in there tonight. He tried right until he got stopped, until the towel came in, and he should be proud of himself. But thanks for joining us, Ben. Appreciate it, mate, and we'll catch up very soon.
No, thank you.
So that was Ben Davidson. It was great to catch up with him. Hope you've enjoyed it here. I'm Froch on Fighting here at the Nottingham Arena. Leigh Wood has just been stopped by Anthony Cacace. We don't know if he's going to come again. We'll catch up with him later in the week, maybe next week when he's had time to digest. But for now, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the best channel in the business. See you soon.